Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 982 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we have a surprise signing at the Glasgow Rangers. We also have a storyline with two Rangers youngsters with a high potential loaned out to the same club, so we will be breaking that down. And as always, the third and final part of today's video will be picked by you, the people on Twitter, which I currently have no idea about. I've literally just sent out the tweet. Gonna be a hashtag FREEKATIC thing, isn't it? I've wasted my time. Absolutely wasted it. But we need to just take a step right there before we dive any further in today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider hitting that subscribe button and help the nation get towards that 55k mark. But without any further ado, let's dive right into today's video then, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Story number 1 then is going to be about Rangers' newest signing to the football club, and it is none other than... I realise that is the worst drum roll ever, but the latest signing is named Andy Firth, and he is a goalkeeper coming from Barrow FC. Gonna be honest with you, didn't see this transfer actually happening. Now 2 days ago when we spoke about the Rangers loan signings, I did say I expected another goalkeeper to be signed, but this was not the goalkeeper I feel expected to be joining the football club. So it came kind of out of nowhere, and everyone's kind of reaction's a bit of a head scratcher, but I'm going to try and break down his player profile for you guys in today's video and give you a wee bit more insight to the Rangers' latest signing. He is obviously a goalkeeper. He has worked previously for Liverpool's academy. That is where he had a good relationship with Steven Gerrard himself, and it wasn't just Gerrard that he actually worked with. He was a part of the age group of Ryan Kent and Jordan Rossor and Rangers' first team coach Michael Beale. Now I think it's fair to say that we certainly know a hell of a lot about the laddie. Now if you don't know where he's actually came from, he's came from Barrow FC, as previously mentioned, from the Nations League, where he played 18 games this season. From what I've been able to find from what the fans actually think of him, is they rate him pretty highly. He was the first team goalkeeper up to November, where he sort of lost his way, and from there he was eventually dropped and he's been playing second fiddle in the Nations League. Now you may have just heard that and you're thinking to yourself, why oh why have we signed a second choice goalkeeper from the Nations League, CJ? This doesn't make any sense. Well, there is a couple of factors that sort of lead into this transfer. The first one, obviously, Gerrard knows him very well, so does Michael Beale. Both rate him very highly. He's still young as well, 22 years old, still got a lot to learn in the goalkeeping position. And if I'm honest with you, it sort of goes hand in hand with story number 2 involving a certain goalkeeper that was loaned out to another Scottish club, which leaves our goalkeeping position very barren because we don't have a lot actually at the club as it stands. Before we signed Andy, all we had was Wes Forningham as the backup to Shagger, and that's it. Just 2 goalkeepers, that's including at youth level as well. So obviously Andy's coming in here to fill in that gap. He's probably never going to play, if I'm honest with you, which obviously is quite sad, because if you saw his interview with Rangers TV, you could see how delighted he was. He absolutely loves that he's signed for Rangers, and quite rightly so. Where he's been and now he's here, he's absolutely delighted. But unfortunately, this is one of these signings that I think we've just got just to plug a hole that's obviously going to be there. Gerrard knows him and can rely on him if the worst actually happens and an injury happens to Shagger or Forningham. Touch wood, that doesn't happen, by the way, but if the worst does happen, we have a capable goalkeeper that Gerrard trusts to fill in the gaps while the two are actually out injured. So it's a very strange transfer to sort of break down and try and give you guys in the video, because I don't think we'll ever really see him play unless the worst case scenarios, once again, touch wood, actually happens. But I want to ask you guys a question right now in the video. Do you think us signing Andy sort of opens the door for a Wes Forningham exit in January? That could be very interesting. Or is that leaving us far too light once again in the goalkeeping position, because we've got Wright and McAdam out on loan as well, along with McCrorie. But that's it for story number 1. That is the latest transfer done and dusted, wrapped up in a neat little bow. The only thing left for story number 1 is for you to get your thoughts and opinions out there on the latest Rangers signing. That is what I asked Twitter, and now we are about to find out, so let's get it loaded up. I asked the people on Twitter, were you happy with this signing? 750 votes, thank you so much for getting involved. 57% of the people votes for no, they weren't happy with this signing. John Boy says Forningham must be off. Again, is that something you're thinking? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to see some predictions of what's actually going to happen. I think we're going to keep all 3. I don't think Fods is actually going to go anywhere. Andy Kerr says pointless signing, another waste of a wage. Hashtag FREEKATIC for 55. There's the first one. Probably won't be the last. He says, why? Okay, Fods and Anik will probably move on, but that still leaves McCrorie and Wright. Both of them are currently out on loan now at the football club, Ian. He also says, is this New Zealand fella coming too? That's who I thought we were signing. Are we getting him as well? That would be weird. Andy Kerr says, pointless signing, another waste of a wage. Hashtag FREEKATIC says, bit of a weird signing to be honest, haven't heard of the guy or even know his name if I'm honest. Sure, looks like Fods will be away soon, which is sad really, since he's a good enough keeper for us, but he just isn't Shagger's level. FREEKATIC says, unexpected, weird, random, but I'll roll with it. Gotta roll with... Don't sing, Craig. Just ruins the audience. Ewan says, most random signing ever. Resilient Reese says, I don't really know. I mean, Shagger is now 36. He has probably only a few years left, and we need another keeper, so yeah, better than nothing, I guess. Danny, only an excuse, is not a position I thought was a priority, but if there's potential, we should welcome signing younger guys. Hashtag FREEKATIC sends in a video and says, play this, so I'm going to play it. This is his reaction.
No! No!
Is that Gordon? I love Gordon, man. Shout out to Gordon Sawyers. Well, not this week, obviously, because the better's a bit fair play. I like the guy. Bear from the North says, strange one shipping out young McCorie, who by all accounts looks the business, to then bring in another goalkeeper. Don't know the lad, Firth. Maybe he's a better keeper. Another in Gerard we trust moment, and he's quoted that. Doesn't seem that happy. Cammy says, pointless to be honest with you, mate. And the last two are free that we actually read, because for Philip, Ewan McGregor says, just get rid of Ford. The guy won't get a game now. Hopefully Shagger doesn't retire soon. And we'll end with the Bazcast 3000, the Baz. He says, don't know much about him, but also young McCorie is out on loan to Morton, so it looks like we are building for the future, which is good to see. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the people's opinion. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. But now it's time to jump to story number 2, and we've kind of spoiled some of it, but the first part of it is going to be Robbie McCrorie has been loaned out to Morton. Obviously Robbie isn't just the brother of Ross McCrorie. He's a very, very talented goalkeeper in his own right. If you've not seen his sort of highlight compilations, these saves that he's making nearly every single game he plays for Scotland's international level, it's absolutely incredible. Definitely go and do so. There's one where he just seems to dive across the goal and just makes this unbelievable save. So much raw potential, but as you saw in the Helsinki game, he's still got a lot to learn, especially when coming off his line where he kind of conceded a goal because he misread the flight of the ball. So this is clearly an opportunity for him to go out there, get some game time and learn in a hostile atmosphere. But I've got to interrupt myself and say there wasn't just Robbie McCrorie that was loaned to Morton. No. There was another highly rated young bear sent to Morton to get some first team experience, and that is Andrew Dallas. Don't do the referee meme, just don't do it. Now, if you followed this channel for a little while, I've obviously spoken about Andy Dallas, especially coming up to that semi-final versus Aberdeen, where I didn't want Sadiq anywhere near it. I was willing to give Andrew Dallas a chance, because the guy, if you're paying attention to the youth level, like Rangers Youth on Twitter, he's scoring 9 out of 10 games that the guy's actually playing. He is a natural goal scorer, just like Zach Rudden can put the ball in the back of the net, and just like Zach, he's been loaned out to a team that needs a goal scorer, and that could potentially be an incredible loan signing for Morton. He could just be what they need to scrape and fight for every single point. Like, honestly, if you're a Morton fan sitting right now and you're maybe not too sure of what you're actually getting, these are two probably the highest rated youngsters that we have at the football club right now. Robbie McCrorie, international, playing under 21s level constantly, just needs that game experience to touch on some of the things that he's struggling on. And Andrew Dallas has got a growing reputation within Rangers Football Club. You ask anyone, basically everyone's talking about his goal scoring talent. So you get them both for free on loan. Incredible bit of business. And if they take off and settle well at the club, that could just be what Morton needs to jump up the table. And before we wrap up story number 2, let's hear from the gaffer, Steven Gerrard himself. This is what he's had to say about the loan move. Andy Dallas and Robbie McCrorie have gone out on loan to get experience fighting for important points in front of a crowd. That is all he said about it. Very short and sweet, but I completely agree. That is what they need now to nurture and come back to the famous much better players. And final thoughts overall on this transfer. I think it's a great move, not only for Morton, who have just probably got the 2 steals of their transfer window in their league. That's how highly I rate these two. But from a Rangers point of view, they will get games week in and week out now, and they can toughen up and get used to playing first team football. The only thing I suppose I have to talk about is the fact that we've loaned out a very talented goalkeeper and actually signed a goalkeeper to sit in the third choice spot, which obviously Robbie would have been in. But I actually agree with both moves and story number 1 and story number 2, because it's all fine to keep young talented players at the football club, but they need games to get better overall. And is Robbie ever going to be playing this season or maybe even next season? I don't personally think so. In my opinion, he is the long-term successor to Shagger. That's how highly I rate the laddie, but right now he needs games to get better, and we've obviously signed someone else to sit in the third place spot that's not going to moan about not playing that much if he ever plays at all. So story number 1, story number 2, connected. What's your thoughts on them? And now it's time for the third and final part of today's video, and as always it's picked by you, the people, every single week on the Ranger Roundup. Now, I haven't actually seen that, so let's open the thread up. Okay, yep. A lot of FREEKATICs. Like, honestly, Adam McCabe, Ryan, Fraser, FREEKATIC, hashtag FREEKATIC says, can you speak about FREEKATIC? I'm just going to speak about it very, very briefly, okay? The hashtag FREEKATIC movement, if you don't know, if you're not on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that, is a movement by certain Rangers fans who would like Katic to be freed from whichever punishment he is currently receiving for not getting a game for the Glasgow Rangers. After starting the season so strongly, Rangers' best defensive performances with him and Connor Golson. Since then, we've been trying Worrell, who's been forcing the team, and it's been very, very hit and miss. The highest point was obviously beating Celtic, where Worrell was fantastic, but with every single time we point to the Celtic result, there's about 4 or 5 games where Worrell's just not been at it for the Glasgow Rangers and the other performances. That's summed up perfectly in Kilmarnock when we conceded from this. See that picture? We conceded from that. Joe Worrell got caught on the ball. Look at it. Look at it. But the fact remains, I just don't know why he is still dropped at this moment of time. And now, if you've followed Rangers' official Twitter account, it looks like Joe Worrell will be playing on Sunday as well. So Katic still won't be getting a game. And the last thing I want to say about the hashtag Katic situation, I'm sure you guys are already getting your thoughts and opinions out there, is something clearly must have happened behind the scenes. He must not be doing well in training. There must have been a conversation between him and Gerrard, because I just don't understand it from a footballing perspective. When you have a centre-half making so many mistakes as Worrell does, you have another centre-half who was a part of the best defensive partnership who isn't getting a look in. Something that we've not been told happened behind the scenes, and that must be the reason why he isn't playing. I wish we knew what that was. Hopefully the club come forward and actually tell us, because the movement was trending on Twitter yesterday and it's just growing and growing and growing. So it'll be interesting to know what your thoughts are on the Katic situation. Do you think we'll ever see him playing again? And that's going to be the end of this week's Rangers Roundup. I've been CJ Novo92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.